Hey, hello. Okay, welcome, and quick one before we start the course. The title says Build a Personal Instagram with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, the main reason I created this course is to teach modularization and database management for front-end developers. But what's that like without having an actual application? So we'll use this part one to build an Instagram clone with HTML, CSS, and we'll use JavaScript for modularization. You see what that is as we progress. And then in the part two of this course, we'll talk about uploading images to our Instagram application, handling data, the images, manipulating the data, and all that in our application. So we'll see how to do all of that in the part two. So enjoy this part one with me. And again, this course is not structured. That means that we'll figure things out together a lot. So tell me if you like it that way, if you want something not structured like this one, where we'll make mistakes together, figure things out together and all that. Or do you want something more structured where I already have a predefined styling I'm following system and I just give you everything and say do this and do that and do this and do that? So let me know and see you in the course. Let's get started. So right here in my file manager, the first thing I'm going to do is create a folder. A new folder, name it Instagram, since we're building an Instagram clone. And then I'll open this with VS Code. You can use any text editor you want. So you have PyCharm here and code, so you can choose whatever text editor you want. We can go ahead and create the index.html file. Right in the index.html file, I'll use the emmet HTML boilerplate by typing doc. You can get the emmet extension in the extension pane, type emmet, and yeah, right, and you find it somewhere here. It has to be one of these. All right, so index.html file, we have this right now, and then inside the body tag we want to put the content, right? Let's change the title first of all to my personal Instagram. Remember, this is your personal Instagram. You'll be the only one who'll be able to make posts and view them. All right, let's see what Instagram looks like. And this is what Instagram on the web looks like. So we want to use someone's profile for our application. Who's this? And we need a simple profile also. Let's try the first one and see. This is Kevin Hart for you. Okay, all right, we want to do something like this. We'll use this is what our application should look like. Now let's go back to our index.html file. We're going to start by creating the navigation, and we'll use the nav tag for that. Nav, right, on line 8. Then let's see what the nav contains. You know what I'm going to do? Let me see how I can separate this and this here. All right, I think that works. Inside the nav file, the first thing we have is the logo, right? That's a link, so we use the anchor tag for that. ahref equal to, let's use the pound sign, and then close the anchor tag. So inside here we want the Instagram logo. We'll get it in a bit. Then the next thing we have is the search bar, right? And that's, we'll use an input tag for that. So that's input type text, right? And we'll give it a placeholder search. Okay, let's also add the class for this right now. So let's just add a class and search right there on line 8. The next thing we want to do is have the 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, these 4 icons. We want to group them together, so we'll use a span tag for that. And inside the span tag we have, so the icons are links, so we want to have 4 anchor tags. So let's have the anchor tag. So I'm using the emmet abbreviation, remember. So a link, and yeah, we have an anchor tag. We'll use hash right now for them. That's the hash, the pound symbol, And let's duplicate this. That's 2, 3, 4. All right. Now we'll have we'll put our icons inside here in a bit, but let's go back to, so let's see what this looks like. I'm also using the live server extension, live server, and this is it. So when you have live server installed, you can just run your HTML file by right clicking on it and then open with live server. So whatever change you make is going to reflect there. You don't need to reload the live server, and then we can access it by coming to address bar and then typing in localhost / index.html. So localhost 5500, like it says here in the code editor, and then enter. All right, so we have that. It's looking interesting right now. So we have the logo, right? That's this place letter for logo, line 9, and then line 10 the search bar, and then line 11 to line 16 the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 icons. We'll be leaving out these last part, that's the profile image for the person viewing, because that's not necessary since this is all our application is going to contain. Now let's start by getting this logo. So right click and then copy image address. Now we have our image address. Back to our code editor, we have a href there, and then on line 10 let's add an img tag. So img src, this is the link we just copied, and then alt should be logo, logo. So let's see what that looks like. All right, so that's our Instagram logo. Nice. The next thing we're gonna do is add the, okay, so we have our Instagram logo and then we have the search. The next thing we're gonna do is get these different icons. So 1, 2, 3, 4 icons. We'll be using Font Awesome for that. Font Awesome. So search for Font Awesome icons on Google. Let's search for the first icon. Okay, Instagram. This is home, so let's search for the home icon. HOME, home. All right, so this is the home icon. If you notice, this is the only free home icon, so I'd prefer this one, but let's go with the free one. So click on this, and then the next thing we're gonna do is scroll to start using this icon. So start using this icon, and then we need to copy this. We copy this and then back to our code editor. Let's paste it inside the anchor tag on line 14. Now when we come over to our web page, we can't see it yet, and that's because we've not set up Font Awesome for our project. So look at this, don't have a project set up, get started here. So click on get started here, and you scroll down, enter your email address to create your first kit. So you enter your email address right here. ebenezerdownloadofficial@gmail.com. That's my email address, and then send kit code. Okay, we should receive a confirmation email. Click to confirm your email address, then set password and continue. Now we have this no thanks, let's keep this step for now. And look at this, what we're gonna do is copy this link and then paste it in our code editor. So in our index.html file, right before the body tag is closed, let's paste this. All right, we have this script. Let's go back to our web page. All right, so that's it. The next thing we're gonna do is search for this icon. This is the inbox, right? This is for inbox. It looks like a kite. So back to fontawesome.com/icons. Let's search for a kite. Hopefully we'll get a look there. No, this is not close. You know what, let's use a chat icon for that, since it represents messages inbox. So one of them should work, this one, so this should do this. Alright, now we're going to click on the start using this icon button, then copy this. We'll go back to our code editor and paste it on line 15. Then the next icon we need is this is for the Instagram Explore page, and this looks like a compass. Let's go back and search for compass. Okay, this is it. So click on start using icon, we'll copy this and we'll paste it on line 16. Finally, this is the heart icon. Okay, that should be this one. So click on start using this icon, copy this and paste it on line 17 in our code editor. And this is what it looks like so far. Okay, this is our aim, remember, so we can close this tab. All right, let's start our navigation with CSS. We'll come over to our code editor and then create a new file. We'll name this index.css. Then back to the index.html file in the head tag right here on line 6. Let's import the CSS. So this is index.css. Now we have a CSS file. Let's start with the styling. In the index.css file, we want to target the nav tag, the right nav for that, and then the curly brace. Inside the nav tag, if you notice, this navigation bar has a white background, but then the background for the body is not all that white. Let's get a color picker for that. Let's know the exact colors. So I want to download a Chrome extension color picker for that to know the exact colors that Instagram used for this website. So search for color picker, Chrome, add to Chrome, add extension. All right, now we can click on the color picker. Let's select this, so you can see this is #FFFFF, that's for white. Then when we come over to the main body, it's FAFAFA. Okay, so let's style our body. Before the nav, let's style the body so we can see the difference. The body, and then we'll give it a background. That's #FAFAFA. Now we'll give our navigation a background color of FFFF. So just FFF should do for that. All right. Now the next thing we're gonna do is add okay, so let's make this clearer, just so we can start the width and the height for the navigation bar. So this is red. Now we want to remove this white space at the top and the one at the left. To do that, inside the body tag, we'll use the margin property and then 0. Awesome. So we can take this back to FFF. We also want to give it a height of, let's use 3.3 EM. To center the contents, we'll use line height for that. Line heights, and we're using line height because it's just one row of content that's inside the navigation bar. So let's set line height to 3.3 EM, and then we're gonna give it padding 0 for top and for right. So top and bottom 0. We want to just target the left and the right. So left and the right, that's 13.5 EM. Okay, so this is what we want. So index.css, we have a navigation bar, looks like this right now. Let's add border bottom. So look at this, there's a line at the border, so that's for border bottom. Border bottom should be, let's try 0.1 px solid and black. Okay, so that's visible, but this is a lot lighter. Let's confirm what color this is. This is DB DB DB. So instead of black, let's try DB DB DB. All right, it's beginning to look like Instagram in a way. Okay, let's target the Instagram logo. Look at where we have a logo on line 11. Let's give it a class of logo. So class and logo. Now we can style it. Back to the index.css file, we're going to target the logo class. And then inside this, if you look at this, there's an underline right here, and that's because it's a link. It's inside an anchor tag right where my pointer is on. That's a blue underline. So let's remove that using the text decoration and then none. All right, we're going to target the image itself. So this is the logo, and then we have the img tag inside the logo that contains the image. So we'll do that using the logo and then img, and inside it we want to take it to the middle, so we'll do that with the vertical align property and middle. Awesome. The next thing we're going to do is target the search input. So that's remember we gave it a class search, so we have .search next on line 22 .search, and inside the search class we start by giving it. Okay, so let's look at what Instagram has. So this is their search background right here, and if you notice, it's not white, it's the same color with the body. So that's remember FA. We'll come over to this place and background FA. Okay, so that's for the search. Change this to background color. All right, then the next thing we want to do is separate it from the Instagram logo, just like it is here. Let's use margin left for that. Margin left, and we'll try 15 em. Let's add more. Let's make this 19. Yeah, give it a height. I'll go with 1 em. Okay, 1.8. That should be okay. And a width of 15.5. 16. I think that's okay. 16, right? I think that's okay, unless you want us to try. Let's try 17 em. Is this oh, that's the width we're targeting. Okay, yeah, I think the width is okay at 15.5, and then we should try 2 for height. So 2 em for height. That's too much. 1.9. Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's remove the border. This thick border we can see here. We're just going to change it. We'll have us, and then we'll change the color also. So border 1px solid, and then for the color looks like it's the same with, no, it's not the same with the background. Let's confirm what color that is. So look at this, DB. Background color should be this. Nice. Looks better than before. Let's take our search placeholder to the center. So to do that, we'll target the placeholder for the input tag. So that's .search, and then placeholder, text align, center, and color. Let's see what the color should be. This is the color. Okay, I'm not sure this color picker in VS Code. I think it comes with VS Code. I'm not sure it's an extension, but just in case, if you don't have it, then search for color picker in VS Code, CSS color picker, then you should find something like that. But I think that comes with VS Code or whatever editor you have. Try to get a color picker, and that'll make things a lot easier. I think that's it, right? I think we're close or not. Let's see. I think that's close to pink, so let's try this. Search. It's darker. Let's take it down. Search. Okay, one more thing. We're gonna change this to the S capital letter. All right. Looks similar in a way. The next thing we're gonna do is style the nav links. Look at the nav links right here. So it's span. Let's give it a class of nav links on line 14. So nav dash links. Back to our index or CSS file, we can target the class nav links. We'll separate it from the search bar, so we'll do that with margin left and 8 em. No, 9. No, let's use 8. That should work. Let's separate the icons from each other. We'll do that by targeting the anchor tag. So look at this. We have the anchor tag inside the navlink class. So we'll do that by targeting the anchor tags in the navlink class. So direct anchor tags, and we want to give them a margin left of 1 em. All right, that's not looking bad. Finally, we will target the icons. The icons are inside the I tag. So let's target the I tag. We'll do that with .nav links and then I for the I tag. Look at what we have here. Ours is smaller. So let's increase the size. We'll use the transform property for that, and then scale 1.5, 1.6. We'll change the color also. That's 4F. So right here, color. So let's take it down a bit. Now we have that. We want to also align it to the middle. Let's just be sure it's in the middle. So we use the vertical align and the middle. Yeah, it means the first alignment we did was not necessary. The one we did earlier. Right now we have the Instagram search and the icons looking a lot better than before. Let's add margin to these icons. So that's A. So let's try 1.5. All right, 1.5 em, and this is looking okay. Say we're building something close to Instagram. Our search box, I want to increase the height for our search box. So for search, let's increase the height to let's give it 2 em. I think 2 em is okay. We'll work on the body of the page next. For the body, let's go back to our index.html file. And right under the nav tag on line 21, we'll create a new div. So div, and give it a class of container. Remember, this is the extension at work. Right, so we have a div with the class of container. And inside the container div, let's have a new section. Let's see what we have here. This is Kevin Hart. So this is a section, and this is another section. So this is the bio, right? About Kevin Hart, number of followers and all that. And this is the gallery. Back to our index.html file, let's have this section.bio, and we have a section with class bio, and we'll create another section.gallery. Okay, so we have the bio and we have the gallery. Let's add contents to our bio. So look at this. Kevin Hart for real. What we need right now for our application is we don't need the bio because it's my personal Instagram. I'm not showing it to any other person. We don't have a number of followers or following. It's a personal Instagram. Okay, so we just need this display pic and name, right? I think we should go with name, and then the follow button, which is not necessary. So the name, the display pic, the username, and the follow button right inside the bio section. Or we're going to create another div, and then we'll give it a class of profile photo. So div.profile photo, and that's a div with class of profile photo, and inside it we want the image. Let's take Kevin Hart's image. If you right click on this, nothing is happening. But then there's a way we can get it. And when you right click on the page and inspect, we should be able to select this element and look at the link to the file. So let's copy this, and we can close now and open the URL. Alright, so now we have it. Let's go back to our HTML file, and inside profile photo, we want to create an image. So image src is the link we just copied. That's the long link, so let's give it an alt text. First of all, we'll name this profile photo and let's paste. All right, now we have the profile photo. What do we need? What do we need next? We need the username. This is we're going to use CSS grid for this now. These are two columns. So the first column is the profile photo, and then the next column is the profile info. Right, so what we have here is we have the first div now. So this bio section is going to be a CSS grid. We'll give it a CSS grid display. Now the first div, this is the first column for profile photo. Let's have another div for profile info, and right inside the div for profile info, we'll have a p tag for username. So p.username, and what's the username? Kevin Hart for real. Copy that and paste it inside this p tag. The next thing we're gonna do is add the follow button. So button and then follow. All right, this looks interesting. Let's dial it next. Our index.css file, let's add padding to it. .container, and then padding. We want to target just the left and the right. 0 for top and bottom, and then left and right should be about 15%. That should do. Let's see what Instagram has. Okay, so this looks good. 15% looks okay. Right. Now that's for the container div. We'll ship the image later on to where this is. The next thing we're gonna do is style the bio right here on line 53, and then let's give it a display of grid. Okay, now with display grid, we can go ahead and have a grid template column. So using the grid template column property, and we want to use a grid template column property to separate into two columns. Fr is a fractional unit, so 1 fr for the picture, the profile pic, and then 2 fr for the profile info. Nice. Let's give this a background. Let's give a bio background color of brown, just so we see what we're doing. We want to add height to the bio section. So for that, let's try height of 10 AM. Let's look at Instagram. That's a lot bigger than us. So 13 and see 13, and Instagram is okay. I think that's okay. We're gonna add padding to move this a bit from the top. We have the height, and then let's add a padding. So we'll add a padding of, for the top we'll try 3 em. That's for the top. We'll try 3 em. Okay, we need for the top, right? That's 3 em, and then for the right we don't need anything for the right, so let's have 0. And then the bottom, so remember it's top, right, bottom, and left. The top 3 em, for the right 0, for the bottom 0, and then for the left 3 em. That's to move the image. And then let's see what we have here. Okay, we still need to move it a bit further, so 5 em. All right, 5 em. 5 em should work. We'll give this a border bottom. Look at this line right here, so let's give it a border bottom. And when we do that, we can go ahead and remove the background. So we have border bottom on line 59. All right, and then 0.5 px solid. And what color is that? So let's see that color. That's back to the nav, and look at it, db. We use 0.1 there, so that might be it. This is it. And let's go ahead and remove the background color. This looks okay. Alright, what does 0.2 px look like? Okay, let's work on the image. Remember, our image is in the profile photo div, so this is the div for our image on line 23. Let's target that div. What we're going to do is style this div and then make our image conform to the styling of the div. So we'll make the div a circle and give it a width and height and make our image fit to that div. Let's start with this line 61, the profile photo, photo. All right, now the first thing we're going to do is remove this image just so we can see what we're doing. Right, and then let's give the div a background color of brown. Okay, and then we'll give it a width of 10 em and a height of 10 em. Next, let's give it a border radius of 50%. That'll make it a circle. Awesome. So this is what we want. This is the shape we want our image to fit in. Let's go back to the index.html file and uncomment the image. Now we have an image right there. Let's target it. .profile photo img, and inside this class, let's start with giving our image width of 100%. The next thing we'll do is give it a height of 100%. You see it started fitting in, so height of 100%. Nice. Then we're gonna do this object fit cover. Okay, and then finally border radius 50%. Right now this Kevin Hart images is the same size that we want our profile photo to be, but then if an image of a larger size comes in, and we'll see that in a bit, then we'll need the object fit property to make it fit, that like crop it and then make it fit into this small circle. So if a bigger image comes in, it's going to crop it and make it fit into this small circle. That's why we need object fit color. Now let's see what it looks like on Instagram. So here's what Instagram looks like. Cool. We don't need this extra colored circle, and that represents stories. We wouldn't be needing stories in our application. We have this username and the follow button. So let's target the username and the follow button. Okay, remember we have .profile info, and then we have p, the paragraph with the class of username. So, and we also have button tag right inside the profile info. So let's start by targeting the username, profile info, and then .username. All right, so this should go with a font size of 1.5 em. Okay, let's see. Let's try 1.7 em. Okay, and then let's give it a color. So for the color, let's see what Instagram has. I think it's the same we use for the border, but let's be sure. So as you can see, I'm using this guy by the right there, so when we're trying to target something small. Now we're gonna give it that color, and that's #54554. All right, that's it. Then let's style the button, .profile photo, and then button, and okay, so this is the follow button. It's blue, right? That's the background for it. Let's confirm what that color is. So we'll take the color from here. That's 0095F6. So background color Okay, this is not working, so what's the problem? Let's see index.html. We're targeting profile info, and what we're having is profile photo, so change that to profile info. Okay, cool. The next thing we're going to do is change the text color to white, so color FFF, that's white. All right, now let's increase the font size. Look at what we have on Instagram. So let's increase the font size, make it fit. What's the font size? 1.1 em. You don't really know the exact one to choose, right? So there's always room for adjustment. You see what 1.1 em looks like, and if that's okay with you, you go on with that. If not, you adjust it based on the result you got. So try 1.2, 1.5, and all that. So this is the font size we'll be using. So let's increase the width of the button. Should try 5 em for this. I think that is a little bit bigger. So let's try 6 em. Let's see. Okay, what's next? We'll let's increase the height of the button. So, and we'll do that by 2 em. Okay. Now we're going to remove the default border that comes with the button tag, and we'll do that with the onset with the border onset property. So that's it. That's looking better. What are we going to do next? Look at the difference. Now when this is overdone, it changes to the pointer. So we want to do that for this button also, and for that we'll come over to line 87 and then cursor pointer. Awesome. So this is beginning to look interesting. We have the navigation bar, and then we have the profile info, the bio section. Or what's next? Next, we're going to work on the gallery. Let's see what that looks like. And this is Instagram. So we scroll down, we can see the gallery starts off with something that looks like a navigation. This is navigation for the gallery. You can click to view posts, IGTV, tags. So let's add this extra part to our HTML. So we'll call this gallery nav, and then leave this as our gallery. Back to our index.html file. We can see right on line 31 we have a gallery section, right? What we want to do is create the gallery nav before the gallery section. Alright, so that's for the gallery navigation. Now we'll style that. So let's go back to the index.css file. Let's give it a background color so that we can see what we're doing. We want to add height to the gallery, so get a background color of brown. We're using brown a lot. Now this is it. I normally would use red, but red does not look good in but then it brings it out, so it's really visible. This is Instagram and this is our application. So let's add the height. We want it to fit into this place where the mouse is hovering on. Let's add height of 3 em. We'll make that 3.5 em. So this is theirs and this is ours. I think that's okay. So now we can remove the background color. So this will be we'll notice this when we add the info for the gallery. And now look at Instagram, right? We have different pictures, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. So we'll be using the grid display again, and want to share these 3 pictures into 3 equal parts. So 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR. So even if we add 6 pictures, they will be broken down into 3 3 columns. Yeah, 3 columns, and then they'll share them into rows. Let's start by working on the gallery section in the index.html file. Now this is the index.html file, and this is the gallery section. The pictures, if you notice, look at them on Instagram. They are clickable. So you click on a picture, and that shows you more detail. And we'll add these parts later on. So they are clickable, and we can use divs for this. So we can use a div, right? We have a div and then we add something inside it. But the problem with that is we'll then need to start setting tab index so that we can select our divs with the tab key. And look at that. So we'll just use a link at once. Let's just use a link here so that we wouldn't need to do that anymore. So we use a link now, a link, and right inside the anchor tag, let's change this to hash. So if we click on this link right now, it's going to reload, but we'll use JavaScript to prevent it from reloading after now. So this is ahref equal to hash, and then what we're going to do next is give it a class of item. Now inside this link we'll have our image, so it's a link, but then what we can see is an image. We click on the image and then the other section pops up, right? The information for the image, maybe the text that comes with it and all that. So we have this, and then inside this link what we want to have is an img tag. Img src is linked to the image, and alt, this will be the alternate text for the image. All right, so we want these. We want let me see, this is one. Let's test this with 1 2 3 4 5 6. We want 6 of these to test our application. So that's one, and then you duplicate it, and that's 1 2 3 4 5 6. All right, let's go get images in the internet. Let's get images from pexels.com. So we'll use that to test our application. Remember, what we plan to do is upload these images ourselves later on in the course, right? We want to give the application the functionality for uploading the images. We'll be able to choose whatever image we want from the application. So we'll remove what we're doing in the HTML later on, right? The hard-coded image URLs, and but we need, that's necessary for right now, so that we see what our application looks like. Now we need images of, I don't know, what do people post on Instagram? Let's see, let's start with this one. So click on, right click and then copy link address, and then I'll add that to the first img tag. So inside the src we have this, and then the next one, what are we using for the next one? Let's use this copy link address, that's for the next one. And let's get another picture, this, right? Copy link address, and we'll paste it there on line 41. We need 3 more, so let's use this, and we'll paste this on line 44. I think we should go with this also. It's copy image address. What have I been doing? I've been doing copy link address. I think it's the same thing though, is it? No, it's not. It's not the same thing. What I want to do is copy image address, not link address. That's because copy image address, see the difference? We have where the cursor is on line 47. We have this .jpeg, and then these are the settings for the image. So when we do copy image address, it gives us the image. So when we click on the image, it takes us to that image. But with this, when we do copy link address, it takes us to the page for the image, which is not what we want. We don't want this. We want the image instead. So let's edit this. So copy image address instead, and we'll paste it here, right? So if we paste this and go to this URL, we just get the image straight away, and that's what we want in our browser, right? So let's do the same thing for this one. I hope I remember what picture this was. So we cut this out, and then yeah, it's this one, copy image address, and we'll paste it here. And for this one, let's copy that, no, let's cut that out and copy image address, and we'll paste it there. And finally this one, cut that out, then let's see if we can find it. I think it's this one. Copy image address and paste it there on line 35. Now we have one more to go, one more image to go. Have we used this one? I doubt. So let's take this, copy image address, and we'll paste it here on line 50. Nice. Let's see what this looks like in our browser. So this is our Instagram application. We scroll down and we see the different images, so 6 of them. Now we want to group them right into columns and rows and columns, so 3 columns per row. And let's go to the index of CSS file. Before that, remember this is in the gallery section, and each link has a class of item. So let's start by styling the gallery section. Here on line 94, target gallery, and then we'll give it display of grid. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is grid template columns, remember, and then 1FR, 1FR, 1FR. Okay, we're getting somewhere. So this is it so far. Now let's see. Let's style the item just so we know where to. Let's style the item first, then we'll come back to gallery. So gallery, no, dot item, we'll just target that straight away. Dot item, and let's see. Let's give it. What would have done is style this before adding the image, just so we're sure of what we're doing. Let's give it a height of 15 em. We want to give it the same width of 15 em. Okay. This is what it looks like so far. Now we're going to style the image, so we'll do that with this item and img. Right, this is supposed to be dot item, so dot item and img. You remember what we did before with the profile picture? We'll give it a height of 100% and a width of 100%, so a width of 100%. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Oh, I think we want to increase the width of the item 17.5. I will do the same thing for the height, 17.5 em. Alright, now we've done that. We need to add row gap. So row gap, look at this, look what we have on Instagram. Each image has there's a gap between this row and the next row, so that's what we want in our own application. For that, we'll come over to the gallery styling and then others. That should be row gap, yeah. So what we want to do is let's try 2 em for row gap. How's that? How does this look? What of the column gap? So let's give it the same with let's have the same row gap as our column gap. So if this is 2 em, then this should be 2 em. So column gap 2 em. Let's compare this with Instagram. Okay, no, ours is bigger. We'll change this to 1.5 em and 1.5 em. I think the row gap is smaller and the column gap is bigger. Let's see, what are we going to do now? Let's have a row gap of 1.7 em, 1.7 em, and a column gap of 1.3 em, 1.2, 1.1. Let's compare this with Instagram. No, I think we should still reduce it. Let's make this 1 em. Let's try that. Okay, no, let's try 0.7 em. 0.7 a.m. I feel like nothing is changing. What about 0.5 a.m.? Yeah, it doesn't look like anything is changing again. Okay, so we have this right now, and I think this is okay, right? Yeah, this is okay. We'll leave it at this 0.5 a.m. I don't think this is making any difference, so let's remove that. Yeah, wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, let's remove that. Now the next thing we're gonna do, see the images, they're like skewed because they are bigger than the size for the divs we put them in. So let's do that using the object fit property. So object fit, and then we'll use cover. Okay, so this is better. It just fits in and crops out the rest. Nice. Now let's add a padding. Right, we want to have space at the bottom, so a padding between the last image, it's the last row of images, and then the bottom of the page. So we'll go back to the gallery, so that should be margin bottom. We'll go back to the gallery and then margin bottom of let's try 2em. I think 2em is okay. All right, so this is it. 2em is okay. Okay, now what are we going to do next? This is looking really good so far. Let me increase this. So this is what we have so far, and we've done good stuff. Right, app was looking really bad before. Now look at this. Look at Instagram. When an image is hovered on, we can see this this black like this black shade. Yeah, but then the problem with that is that this has likes of 168,000 likes and 615 comments, but then this is a personal Instagram, so we won't be having 168,000 likes. We'll be having no like and no comments. Yeah, unless we decide to add comments ourselves later. We can add that functionality later, but right now what we want to do is let's just give it let's just make this like reduce the opacity on hover. Okay, so we reduce the opacity on hover, so we get this effect, this hover effect. We'll go back to our index of CSS file, and let's target item. Right, so let's do this dot item img hover, and then we want to reduce the opacity to 0.7. Yeah, 0.7. Okay, look at this now. It's white. We want it to be black, so to make it black, we'll go back to the item, like right here on line 103, and then let's give it a black background. So background 000, that's for black. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, look at that. This looks good, right? Yeah. All right, now we're done with Kevin Hart. That is a different image as profile photo. So I've taken one from Excels, and I'm gonna paste it here. Oh, where's profile? Yeah, on 924. All right, we'll be using that. We'll also change the username. What do we want for username right now? Let's see. Let's see super. Let's use Jane Doe. That's too common, right? Let's make up the name. Jane Bottas. Jane Bottas. That's is that the name? Jane Bot. Oh, this is username, remember? This should be name instead. Let's have ours as name. So instead of username, let's change this to name, and index of CSS. We want to style name instead of username. Where's username? Okay, so let's change this to name. I think that's better. All right, so we have Jane Butters. It's a funny name. Let's work with this. We've done a great job so far, and let's see how to add awesome extra functionality with JavaScript. Hey, alright. Now let's talk about modularization. You're going to need this a lot when you start working with front-end frameworks. You want to break down your application into different files. And so here's what I mean. Now we have a HTML file. What we're going to do is break this down, right? As you can see, we have the navbar first of all. This for the navbar, so line 9 to line 20. So we want to break this down. We want to separate it into a different file, a module, and we want to do the same thing for bio. So we want to have the navbar module, the bio module, separate files, and what else? The gallery module also. We want to have these as separate modules, separate files. So we'll be using JavaScript for this. Now let's come over to the file manager, the file explorer, and the first thing we're going to do is create a folder. Let's name a folder modules. Okay, so inside here we'll have modules. Awesome. Now we have a folder as modules. The next thing we're going to do is start by creating the navbar module. So we'll do that by adding a new file, and then we'll name it nav.js. Now I'm using the capital letter to start the name of this module, just so we differentiate it from other files. We know that this is a module, right? So that's nav.js for the module, and let's copy what we have in the this navbar right here. So line 9 to line 20, we're gonna Ctrl X, so that's a navbar, and we want to paste it here, but we don't want to do it like this. Remember, this is a JavaScript file. So what we want to do first of all is this const, we'll create a new variable, and then this will be equal to the HTML text we just copied. We'll have to make this a string, and so that when we're passing it back to our index.html file, we'll use .inner HTML. So this is what I mean. We have a string here, and then this is the file. Now there's a problem though. When it's with the double quotes or single quotes, JavaScript expects the text to be in one line. So one line works. We can create a div and then hey there and close the div, and that works. But then when we take it to the next line, we have a problem right now. The JavaScript expects the string, the double quote or the single quote, to end in one line. What we're gonna do is use the backtick to represent our string. So inside this backtick, then we can use this to write multi-line strings. Now let's indent, and we'll paste the HTML code we just copied. All right, so that's it. We have the navbar, and we'll also indent this navbar. So inside the navbar, you have this href logo and all that. We want to do the same thing for the let's go back to the untitled HTML file. We want to do the same thing for the bio and then the gallery. So right in the module, let's create the bio. That's bio.js. The same thing, const bio, and then this is equal to our HTML code. Oh, we've not copied that. Let's go back there and copy the bio. All right, line 10 to line 18. Okay, so this is for our bio. We'll indent, and we'll do that again. So that's the downside with using string literals to write HTML. We don't have the syntax highlighting or the suggestions, the IntelliSense to suggest tag names. We can use emmet here, and yeah. So we also want the, okay, now there's a problem with these though. Remember that we want our application to be dynamic in the end, and that means that Jane Butters should not be static. It can be anything that we want to put later on. Like the user should have the option of choosing whatever name they want. Same thing with the profile photo. And that's another advantage of using this module, another reason to using this module. Instead of making this static, we can decide to make bio a function and then have this Jane Butters and the image. We can have whatever info we decide to put here later on. We can decide to put description about me, number of followers and all that later on. So that's not going to be static, right? We want that to be dynamic. So we can decide to make this a function and then have all that as a parameter. This is a function, right? You know about the arrow functions. This is the same thing as saying function bio, and this. And right inside here, we want to put the parameters, but we'll be using the arrow functions. So we have const bio equal to this, and inside here now we'll be able to put whatever we want to put, like username, info, and all that. So we can do that later on. Right now, let's make this possible by choosing bio as a function. Since bio is a function, let's do the same thing for nav. So let's make nav a function also. So this is nav. Now when we're calling it, we'll have to call it as a function, and then it will return this HTML text. So we have for bio and we have for nav. The next thing we want is for gallery. So this is the gallery, and the gallery has both gallery nav and the gallery section. So from that div to line 30, so line 10 to line 30. And yeah, our application is looking empty right now. We don't need this for now. Okay, now back to modules. We'll create a new file and we'll name that gallery. Okay, gallery.js. All right, now inside the gallery, const gallery equal to, so this is a function, and we want to just return directly. So a function returns this right now. We can decide to do that later on. So we can do this now. A function returns. We can decide to maybe create a variable here, stuff equal to something, right? Create a variable, do whatever we want to do, and then finally we will do return, right? And then we'll return the template with literal, the HTML code, right? But we're not doing that yet, so let's just return it directly. Okay, we'll indent, and yeah, we have that. Now what we're going to do next, we have our modules, bio.js, gallery.js, nav.js, and our application is empty right now. So let's create a main JavaScript file. To create a main JavaScript file, let's name this app.js. So this is the JavaScript file. We'll be calling it the index.html. So let's just do that. Scripts src. So this is JavaScript, right? How is JavaScript called in HTML? Yeah, that's scripts src, then JavaScript file. So /app.js. So this is a JavaScript file. Now inside the JavaScript file, we want to bring these modules. So this is different file, bio, gallery, nav. We want to bring them over to the app.js as a file. So that's called importing, right? We want to import the content of bio, the content of gallery, and the content of nav. So something like this. We want to do import bio from we're now navigating to the module /module/bio.js, right? So we do this import bio, but to be able to import bio, we need to export bio. So we can't import bio right now. Bio does not, that like this has nothing because we've not exported. We go back to our bio file, we just created a function, and that's all. So we need to come over to line 12 and export bio. So we'll do this, export defaults bio. Now we've exported bio. So back to our app.js file. When we hover on bio, look at this has changed now. We can see the function, the bio function. We'll do the same thing for gallery. Import Oh, so let's go over to the gallery.js and export gallery, export defaults. So that's the default export in this file, this gallery. So when we import, we're importing this gallery function we created here. All right, so this is for gallery, and then let's do the same thing for nav. Export defaults and nav. Awesome. Now back to the app.js file, we can import gallery from ./modules/gallery.js, and then we'll import, what are we importing next? Nav from ./modules/nav.js. If you notice, we're not ending this with the semicolons, and that's because JavaScript would know that this is the end of the statement. So we don't need semicolons in JavaScript, and yeah, I just choose not to use semicolons this time around, but it's totally fine if you use semicolons to end your statements. Now we have import bio, import gallery, and we import nav. We have these three modules. The next thing we're going to do is create we'll create an app function. Now that's the main function, so name this app, and then this is equal to, this is a function, remember. And now inside this app function, we're going to return bio, gallery, and nav the same way. So if you notice, the way I imported these guys, I imported them according to I imported them in alphabetical order. So that's B first, then G, and then N. But now I want to return, so want to do something like this. Want to return, remember the way we arranged it in our HTML file. So we want to return nav first of all. So this is the nav function, and then what do we have after nav? The bio function, and then gallery. So this is what we want, the same way it was arranged. So this is going to appear like this. So when we do this next, what we want to do next is document.get element by ID, and then something inside the HTML file, right? .inner HTML. So get element by ID of a div inside the HTML file. .inner HTML is equal to this app function. So this app is going to return these strings: nav, bio, and gallery. And then document.get element by ID, a div inside it, so inner HTML equal to this app. So when our JavaScript is called, it then sends over what is inside nav, bio, and gallery, right, as one. So inside this application, inside this app function, right, it then sends that over to whatever div we decide to put here on line 13. So let's go to line 13. Let's go over to index.html file, and inside the body we'll create a div and give it a class of roots. So this is where we want to put our JavaScript, our JavaScript modules, the HTML code, right? We want to put it inside root. So back to the app.js file, we'll do this: document.get element by ID root.inner HTML equal to app. Now there's a problem though. The problem is this: we have the nav, we have bio, and we have gallery. Remember that this is a string literal, so this is going to return a string. This is not calling a function. To be able to call functions, JavaScript functions or variables in string literals, we'll need to wrap it inside this dollar sign and the colibri. So now it knows that is a function. You can see the difference in syntax highlighting. So the dollar sign and the colibris. For gallery, we'll do the same thing: the dollar sign and the colibris. Now we have these. Okay, so let's see if this is going to work. Back to our index.html file. Remember, we're running with live server, right, the extension from Emmet. Okay, this is returning a blank page. Let's check what the problem is. Console log cannot use import statement outside a module. All right, so our HTML file is complaining that it can't use an import statement outside a module. So this app.js, it doesn't know that app.js is a module, and we can see the import statement. It can see import statement in the app.js file, which has a gallery, bio, nav, but it doesn't know that the app.js is a module. So what we want to do is import app.js as a module. So right here on line 10, we want to do the script type equal to module. Okay, now let's go back and then reload. So this is the next one. Cannot set property inner HTML of null. Now we go back to app.js file and look at this document get element by ID root the inner HTML equals app. So this is a problem. Let's go back to the index.html file, and if you notice, this is a class and not ID. So let's change this to ID, and we save this and reload. Look at that. So we have this right now, but then look, it's looking a lot different from what it was before, and that's because what we had before was wrapped inside the body section, right? The bio and the gallery was wrapped inside the container class. Remember where we started the container class, right? Let's see, right on line 49 we started the container class, gave it a padding of 0 and 15%. So to fix that, let's come over to our app.js file, and then what we're gonna do right now in the app.js on line 8, we'll have, remember this is HTML. Nav is going to return an HTML codes string, bio same thing, gallery same thing. So inside here we can also do this div class equals to container. We'll close that, and then let's close our div class. So this is a div, and we'll indent bio and gallery. Okay, let's save and see. Awesome, this looks really amazing. So that's it for modularizing your code. Now we'll be using these parameters and the arguments later on. Look at a possible problem you might encounter when doing this. So if you make a mistake and instead of bio.js, right, module/bio.js or gallery.js or nav.js, you just do module/bio, that's a file name, without adding the JS extension. We'll go back to our file. This is a blank page. If we inspect, there's this error showing up: failed to load resource. The server responded with the status of 404 not found. That's because it can't find nav, right? It expects it to be nav.js, bio.js, gallery.js. So nav.js, bio.js, and gallery.js. Awesome. Now we have our files in module. So with this, the good thing about this is that nav is now reusable. We can decide to call it somewhere else. Let's say we create a different page altogether, right? We're creating a new page for something else, maybe another part of Instagram. We don't have to start writing, you know, what would have done before, right? We'll have new page.html. Let's say we create an explore page, right? We have the explore page right now. So let's say we create the explore page. We name we'll name it explore.html, and then we'll start all over. We start writing the nav. We'll just copy whatever it was in the index.html file and paste it back here. But with the JavaScript modules, we don't need to do that anymore. All we need to do is to import the nav, right, and then just call it the same way we called it here on line 7, and that's that. All right, now what we're going to do next is include a button to our application. We'll be using this button to add images. So let's go over to Font Awesome and search for an add icon. Oh, all right, so we have this plus square. Then start using this icon. We'll copy that, and let's look at here. We have our gallery.js open, so we want to put it right before the gallery, and let's see what this looks like. Okay, so we have a plus button here. Now we want to take it down here, so watch the mouse. We want to take it down here, right, like the bottom right of the page. We'll be using CSS for that. Now let's go to our index.css file, and we'll scroll down. Let's see. So just before the gallery nav on line 90 rather, we want to target this I class. Now a way we could use the ms extension here so that it recognizes that this is HTML code is by changing this. We'll come over to the bottom right of this code editor. We see JavaScript, select language mode. and then we type in HTML. So when we do this, we can then edit as HTML, but then it won't recognize JavaScript anymore. Now right here, let's add a class to this icon, and let's call that class add photo. So we have add photo FA plus square. So we'll be targeting this add photo class. So back to our index or CSS file on line 90, we can now do dots add photo, and now let's start by increasing the size. We'll use a transform for that, and then scale 2. Let's try 3. All right, now let's move it to the bottom right. We'll change this position to absolute, and then bottom, let's start with 0 and right 0. Okay, so it's way over here. We're gonna move this, so let's try 5 EM for bottom and 5 EM for right. Yeah, that's beginning to look better. Let's move the button to the left a little bit. We'll make this 7 EM. Awesome. Now what we're going to do next, we don't want this to be absolute positioning because it scrolls with the screen. We want it to remain at this spot even while scrolling. So we'll just change this positioning to fixed. And let's try again. Okay, so we have our add button right now. Now what we're going to do next, we want to click on this button and see an option for selecting images from our computer, like a file upload. You know, so we're using the input type file upload for that. So input type file. Go over to the gallery.js, and what we want to do is have our input type right here. Let's do this input file, and then let's give it ID add photo input. Since it's ID, I like using the camel case for IDs. So add photo input. Now when we go back to our browser, we can see this choose file, but we want to be able to select this button and have this open for us. Now to do that, let's first of all give it a name, photo. This is not necessary for what we're about to do. And then what we're going to do now, we will wrap this icon inside a label div. So that label will be for this particular input. So label 4, and then the ID of this input, which is add photo input. So we'll copy this and then we'll paste it here on line 3. Now we have our label. Let's try again. When we click on this button, you notice it opens up this file picker. Now the next thing we're going to do is hide this file picker. So let's target the add photo input ID in our index or CSS file, and then display none. Okay, finally let's change the cursor for our add photo button to pointer, just so our users know it's clickable. We can click on it and select whatever file, whatever image we want. So that's it for adding our image upload button. Now what we're going to do next is see how we can actually upload images into our application. This is our personal Instagram. So we'll be using IndexedDB for that. We'll upload the images to IndexedDB locally and then access them from IndexedDB, so that whenever we reload our application, we'll see whatever image we've added previously, and then we can decide to add more information to those images, edit the information on those images, and all that. We'll see how to do all these in the next lesson.